As Iraq falls apart, can formal partition be far behind? ISIS terrorists, Ba'athist remnants and Sunni tribes now hold a mass of northern and western Iraq, making ever more gains. They've seized control of much of the Iraqi-Syria border, and they are moving the front line ever closer to Jordan and Saudi Arabia. The embattled Prime Minister, Nouri al-Maliki, still holds Baghdad and the Shiite heartland to the south. Though today in Baghdad, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said that he should step aside if he cannot forge a political solution and unify Iraqis to staunch the bleeding. And he repeated President Obama's pledge of limited military support.
The support will be intense, sustained, and if Iraq's leaders take the necessary steps to bring the country together, it will be effective.
But will it be enough to put Iraq back together again? The Kurds, gassed by Saddam Hussein in the 1980s, autonomous since 1991 when the United States defeated the dictator in the first Gulf War, have now moved quickly to pursue the biggest prize, their decades-long dream of independence. My exclusive interview with the Kurdish president, Mesûd Barzani, who tells me that he will try to persuade Kerry, when he visits the region tomorrow, that the time has now come, despite U.S. opposition and fears of an even wider regional war. President Barzani, welcome to the program.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
Welcome. Welcome, ma'am. You are all welcome.
Let me start by asking you, can Iraq hold together anymore?
من الصعب جدا.
It is very difficult to imagine so, because the current experience is showing us that we cannot continue this way. Now we are living a new Iraq, which is different completely from the Iraq that we always knew, the Iraq that we lived in 10 days or 2 weeks ago.
So if this is a different era, Mr. President, is this the time that the Iraqi Kurds want to pursue your long-time goal of self-determination, even independence?
During the last 10 years, we did everything in our ability, we made every effort, and we showed all flexibility to build a new democratic Iraq. But unfortunately, the experience has not been successful the way that it should have. And that's why I believe that after the recent events in Iraq, it has been proven that the Kurdish people, to seize the opportunity now, the Kurdistan people should now determine their future.
Could I get you to be precise? Does that mean seeking independence, Mr. President?
Like I said, the time is here for the Kurdistan people to determine their future, and the decision of the people is what we are going to uphold.
So if there was a vote tomorrow, what would the decision of the people be, do you think?
Without doubt, with no doubt, the people of Kurdistan in general, there was a referendum a few years ago, but it was unofficial, it was informal, and that was a true number, unlike the other numbers elsewhere in other countries around us. More than 90% of people voted for independence.
Mr. President, are you not afraid of triggering the breakup of Iraq?
Honestly, after the collapse of the regime in 2003, we Kurds protected Iraq and the unity, the oneness of Iraq. During the last 10 or so years, that's what we have done. But now, Iraq is obviously falling apart anyway, and it's obvious that the federal or central government has lost control over everything. Everything is collapsing. The army, the troops, the police. We are now approaching the existence or the formation of what they call ISIS. We have a 2,500-kilometer border line with a new state, and it is not our fault. We did not cause the collapse of Iraq. It's others who did. And we cannot remain hostages for the unknown.
Are you fighting ISIS right now? Has the Iraqi government, Baghdad, Mr. Maliki, asked for your help in fighting ISIS?
The Prime Minister has not asked us. On the contrary, he rejected every offer to assist. We now are defending Kurdistan from ISIS or otherwise. Anyone who approaches the border of Kurdistan, we will fight back. But fighting the terrorists is a duty that we will not hesitate to undertake. But we will not fight, we will not engage in the fight without having a clear future in sight and without a comprehensive political solution.
You say the Maliki government rejected your offer to fight ISIS. I also read that you warned them, 2 or 3 days before Mosul fell, that ISIS was threatening Mosul and that they rejected or didn't listen to your warnings. Tell me about that.
I did warn Mr. Prime Minister not only a couple of days, but a few months before the fall of Mosul. I did warn him, but he did not take the warning seriously. And I have many witnesses to that effect that I did warn him. And so that the situation is clear to you, people in these Sunni areas, they revolted against the policy of the central government. Not everything that took place was done by ISIS, but ISIS, as an organized organization and an organization with potentialities, is trying to seize opportunity and control the situation. But people in those areas found that the opportunity was there to revolt against that wrongful policy. Because what happened actually was caused by that wrong policy from the central government, and the terrorists seized the opportunity. That is the public anger. And it's important to distinguish between what's legitimate rights and what terrorists are trying to accomplish.
President Barzani, can ISIS be isolated and pushed back?
It's possible if there was understanding between Shi'is and Sunnis, and if there is a guarantee of a true partnership in the authority, in political power, and if the wrong policies were dealt with. But this cannot be accomplished without a true national reconciliation and a comprehensive political solution. But the situation has been very complicated. And the one who is responsible for what happened must step down.
Do you mean Mr. Maliki? He is the general commander of the army. He built the army on the ground of personal loyalty to him, not loyalty to the whole country. And he monopolizes authority and power. He led the military, and this is the result. His wrong policies, he is responsible for. Mr. Barzani, do you think President Obama's sending 300 military advisors can change the balance of power on the ground?
I do not believe so. I do not believe that this will change the balance of power. And this issue cannot be resolved by military means. It's a political issue that has to be dealt with politically. And after that, a military resolution can be easier to accomplish if there was a political agreement and political power.
The United States have been the Kurds' greatest friends, at least since the 1990s, with the no-fly zone after the first Gulf War, and you've been able to build a thriving, autonomous, mostly democratic society. But Secretary Kerry is coming to visit you tomorrow to Erbil, and they do not agree with independence for the Kurds. What are you going to say to him?
بهذه المناسبة أود أن أقدم الشكر.
I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to the United States and to the sacrifices made by the American military.
أنه جدير لو توفرت له.
The United States has been a true friend, and we, Kurds, have shown that we deserve that friendship, and that if we are given the opportunity, we can successfully rule our own region. And the success of the region of Kurdistan was the only success that resulted from American policies.
فرصة لكل العراقيين.
And the United States has given the opportunity to all Iraqis to build a modern democratic state, pluralistic state,
مع الأسف الشديد
federal state. But unfortunately, the others were not able to seize the same opportunity.
What will you say to him?
I will try to explain the situation to him, and I will try to explain to him what we have done during the last 10 years. There is nothing no effort that we spared in order to make the democratic experience succeed in Iraq, but this is the result. I will ask him, how long shall the Kurdish people remain like this? The Kurdish people is the one who's supposed to determine their destiny, no one else.
For a long time, President Barzani, there was a question about what resources you might have in Kurdistan. You have now seized Kirkuk with the big oil-producing area. Are you going to give back Kirkuk, or are you keeping Kirkuk for good?
لم نشك في يوم من الأيام حتى سابقا أنها جزء عزيز من كردستان.
We never had any doubt at any time that Kirkuk is part of Kurdistan. But we are willing to resolve this issue using the provision of Article 140. For the last 10 years, we have been waiting to have that article applied, but we haven't seen any seriousness from the central government. And since we have new developments in Iraq now, this is what brought about the new situation with Kirkuk coming back to Kurdistan, and it has always been part of Kurdistan. So there is no reason to talk about this.
Do you mean a referendum?
We haven't done this referendum yet, but we will do, and we will respect the opinion of the citizens, even if they refuse to have Kurdistan as an independent state.
President Barzani, do you feel that your life's work is about to be accomplished?
I really hope this is the case.
President Mesûd Barzani, thank you very much indeed for joining me from Erbil.
Shukran.
Thank you so much.